diys-by-dar. Let's create. I have a Goodwill thrifted cube. It's 15 by 15 by 15. So let's upcycle this into a cabinet. This is part of the Hope Challenge hosted by Crystal from the Crafty Creech and DIYs and Kat from Owling Dog. I purchased this for $8, maybe a bit much, but it was very clean. Even the back was very nice and I didn't have to do anything with it. So it had this odd finish, some type of sprayed, maybe plastic coat. So I just scuffed it up a bit with some 100 grit, and I am going to use some slick stick on it first and then some Boss. Now, Dixie Belle has combined slick stick and Boss into one product called Bonding Boss. So you get it all. The slick stick portion is for very shiny things, even glass and ceramic, so your paint will stick. And Bonding Boss is a primer for odor, stains. It is just great and I love it. So I have a coat of slick stick and then some Bonding Boss and I'm ready for paint. I have Annie Sloan's Scandinavian Pink and a French tipped brush. And I'm going to get in these little corners here. And it is always really difficult to get a brush in these areas because you keep hitting the top unless you use a short-handled brush. So I just used a little roller. And I am putting 2 coats on the inside and letting that dry. And the next I'm going to mix up some blue and try to match this paper from Made by Marley. And both sides and the bottom are going to get this blue, which is Ambusan blue and a little bit of red. And I had to put a bit of purple acrylic in there just to darken it up a bit. So both sides, 2 coats, bottom, 2 coats. Let that dry. I'm ready to stencil. I'm not sure how I got this color. You can see some of them up there. But I'm going to go ahead and put this stencil on both sides, top and bottom along the edge, and on the top on both sides. And I like the swirly twirly method. I like thicker paint. Don't have watery paint. Don't wash your brush and then pick right up with stenciling because you will get bleed through. Now I have some gold acrylic paint and it's gold, but not like really in your face gold. And this needed another background. So I chose to use this in all different random directions to put a layer of these gold leaves down on both sides and on the top. I needed to bring some of that blue down. So I have my base blue and just some little flowers, and I am putting a band of those top, bottom, both sides, and top both sides. I needed another line, I thought, to pull that color down. So I picked another random pattern and put a line of those, both sides, top, bottom, and the top, both sides. So here I am. I got to get the paper on to help me get this color figured out to make sure this blends down into the sides. So here's my paper. I have this taped off so I can somewhat get this paper on there straight because that's pretty important with this. I have my Mod Podge in matte and I am going to go ahead and get my layer of paste down. And I am really an overpaster, guys. I'm trying to kick that habit, but you know, more is always better, but not in this case. I get that smoothed out, and when I grab my paper, I start by just tapping down and getting it lined up and straight, maybe about an inch and a half, so it stays in place while I'm working with the rest of it. Now, I don't know why it took me this long to discover. Take a flat tool with a soft edge, put some wax paper around it, and use that. And you can get all of your air or any extra paste, push it out to the edge. And you will see what I mean in a minute here. I think I'm using about half the paste that I used to, and you'll see what this little straight edge does for me. And of course, you want to be careful. And I have a soft edge on this. I'm looking at it and I can see I've got it upside down right now. So I guess either way will work. Just go easy with it. That's where you slide that glue out the edge. And the best part with that wax paper, you can wipe that straight edge off and continue to go without having paste get on your tool. And I have this on a stool, so it's rocking back and forth. Nothing like giving yourself a challenge. All right, here we go. I am going to push. And here comes the paste. There it is. That's the kind of stuff that will give you wrinkles underneath. And this sheet went down really nice. I did get some wrinkles there at the top, and I'm not sure why, just too rushed. Right up to about there, I had a few wrinkles that went across her forehead and over on that left edge, but nothing that I couldn't live with. She's just going to have a forehead that looks like mine. There, I'm using that paste that I squeezed out to make sure my end is down all the way. And I might even wipe off a bit of that excess glue. I need to let this dry, then I will get the edge off. Now, when I'm trying to match a color, see where I'm putting dabs of that color? It's on the cellophane, the paper's inside, until I finally get up to where it looks pretty good. But that's just a little trick sometimes that I use. So another stencil, more colors. This stencil choice probably was not my best because everything was really thick and the rest was a little bit more intricate. But I went ahead and let's go ahead and get this stencil base down. And there we have it. I like it, but trying to pull that color down to that side, I need a little bit more pink, which I put with a small little flower up along the top and bottom edges, both sides, and a gold Posca. Just put some dots in those other little designs. And when I'm looking at this stencil now that I put on the top, it just seems so big and thick to me. So I took Posca pens and I did a little addition on there, outlining my pink with some brighter pink. And then I actually took my gold Posca pen and then went along on the inside of a few things and the outside of some leaves, just so this didn't look so bulky and maybe had a little bit more character to it. Not quite bright enough for me, so yellow Posca pen, I hit the flowers, and the half, you can see how much brighter that is with that yellow Posca. Now I'm looking at it, and I think I need to add some more of that lavender kind of color, like on both sides. It could use it to pull that together, maybe a little bit around on top of those red flowers. So that was my game plan. I just used that lavender, and when I saw an empty space, I just twirlied and put a few of them lavender little flowers in there to help the color flow all the way around this box. Much better. I like this a whole lot better. Now I have to repair my paper. This side is completed, and you can see that off the edge of the paper I repaired all the flowers, or all the leaves, onto the edge. And now I have to come over to this side and repair this side of the paper. Here is my green palette, and I have that light purple, and I'm just going to come from the paper over into the darker side, and I'm just dotting on the paint. There doesn't have to be any real structure to it. We're just dabbing it on there to make that transition. Now this leaf was a bit of a devil because I had a lot of texture under it. And by the time I got done, I thought, well, this is good enough. I'm not making a masterpiece here. I had to get this other leaf in. And the best advice I can give you is follow your pattern and follow your color. And if you have to make it up as you go, then make it up. This is my petal from my flower that I just needed a little more highlight to bring it around. And yes, I will finger paint if I have to get that subtleness in. Now I've already recreated that pink leaf at the top, and I had to recreate the half of this flower. So I have 2 coats of yellow already down, and I'm using acrylic paint here because I'm not on the paper anymore, and I'm just painting on the wood portion of it. And acrylics do much better on the wood. When you have your chalk paints, you can't mix them as well because they are water activated and they'll just get muddy, and you can't put a layer really of one paint over the other. So now I just have a little bit of red, and I'm going around and filling this in, and the last step will just be a little bit of a creamy white to give that little bit of a highlight, and I think this is good. And there we go. I like it. It looks pretty good, and from a distance, it's perfect. I always cover my paper with something when I'm working on it, because when you slide your hand over or you're working on something, that's how these areas happen up on her cheek. I put some acrylic on her little jewel and on her lips. Now, I started with my pink, and of course that color was not right. Went back to the drawing board. I started up. Those are some wrinkles under the paper. So I'm sorry, ma'am. You kind of look like my forehead. You must be in your 60s. So I'm just dabbing, and this is chalk paint. Chalk paint works better on paper, and it looks good. I'm going to call that good. There she is, looking spiffy. I have some 2X Ultra Cover Matte Clear from Rust-Oleum. Those areas that I painted, they're going to get a light spritz, especially on my paper. I don't want anything to run. When it was dry, I hit it with some Min Wax, polyacrylic with a sponge, 2 coats, all sides, with the third one over the top of my paper. It's time for my pin legs. These were purchased from Amazon. They're 10-inch pin legs. I think I paid, it was under $20 for 4 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my spot. Drill my holes. Don't drill too far. Have the appropriate size screws. And I am putting some Quick and Thick by Tight Bond in those holes. And I am going to get these bottoms on. And remember my cube, the cube from Goodwill. Here it is now. Time for all my public service announcements. Thank you for the paper from Lel and Marty at Made by Marley. I am a brand ambassador for their Decoupage paper company out of Scotland. If you would like to look at their paper and now stencils, go to www.madebymarley.co.uk. We have a group, the Flippin' Bunch. Every Wednesday night at 7, we do a live. 4 flippers looking for facts. If you'd like to have a reminder, text live to 814-515-4905 or email live to flippinbunch@gmail.com. I want to thank Crystal from the Crafty Creech and DIYs and Kat from Owling Dog Design for putting on this challenge. Check out the playlist in my description. This would be a really cool one. Like and subscribe. It would really help me out and give me a boost. And I want to thank you for watching. I'm taking a couple weeks off, so my next video will be April 13th for another challenge on smalls. See you then.